Most choice of dreams I choose to chatter. What dreamed me in middest night, once other chatterers crept to couch. Every inch bethinks me, what eye blinks to see? Tree of your dreams, borne aloft on breeze, dragged out in dazzle, brightliest of beams. Thoroughly gotten in gold, poured and pouring, a beacon, a trace, a sign. Gems from foreign corners, faraway fairness, all enfolded, like these five found uploaded across this sibling span. Divine creatures cradle it, each and every one, beauteous promise of things to become. No longer some gallows for the guilty, they nourished it. These holy messengers watched it grow for human types across this mortal garden, matter and mold made famous. Every tree a winner, and this one most of all, and here I was splattered with sin, impaled on my imperfections. I gazed upon the glorious growth, wreathed in its worthy windings, joyfully aglow, garnished and golden. Gemstones gladsome bandaged its scars, the wielder's tree. Yet even though dear worthy dressings, I could still look upon its traumas, wretched and old, so that it began at once to sweat blood along its right half. In every part I was dredged in regret. I was afeared for its fearful beauty. I witnessed the change, the streaking beacon, warping its own and clad in color. Sometimes it was blood steaming, swilling in trills and rills of ruddy sweat. Sometimes it was bedazzled with richness. Yet I, couching there many long wens, cradled that healing tree, raw in cares, until I picked up on it echoing, resounding. Most fabulous of the forest it flowed in words. The years further, memories yet fresh, hewn down at Holt's End, dragged from secret dreamings, surpassing foes snatched me there, stood me their own shivering spectacle, compelled me to crop their criminals. Carriers carried me upon their shoulders, though I am no brother to them, until they rooted me in their realm, enemies enough fixed me there. Then I spotted the first freeborn racing, bracing with bravado to mount me up merrily. Me there, I didn't dare sway or shiver, unless lordly words should allow. Then I watched in wavering, the reaches, the distances of earth. I could have mown these foes down, yet stood I still. Unyarring himself then, this young, it was God all surpassing, strong and set in purpose. He mounted upwards on gallows, heightened and humiliated, impetuous in the imagination of many and all, when he wanted to undo his humankind. I tremble in the man's embrace, hardly dare to humble me to earth, tumble down around distant regions, obligated yet to tower right here. I was reared a Rood, tree, tower and sign, heaving aloft the hardy first, heavenly bread giver, hardly dare to heel or halter. They forced me through with darkness, with nails, witness in me their woundcraft, the gashings of gnashing spite. Hardly dare to savage that lot, making a shame, us two together. I'm all ooze, bedruled with blood, sluiced from, juiced from his side, once this one had flickered forth. Me on hill I've known so much, the wraithing words. I watched that being well attended stretched into agony. Shadows splinted by clouds, sovereign raw flesh, the blearing of the clearness, darkness blown by and gone away, skulking beneath stormy skies. All creation was wrung, a hue and cry for first one's fall. The anointed was anointed as appointed. Anyways they come cruising, rushing in from afar to their noble. I take this all inside. Pained, perplexed, and punctured, yet I was bowed by crowds, their hands mumble-minding me, my valor, my greatness. They snatched that almighty one, hefting him from hard heaviness. Fierce to fight, they've forsaken me, to stand there, made to drape blood, put through with piercing. They laid him down, weary limbs, attending him at the body's head, winding up the Lord of Heavens, while that one slumbered for some time, wearied by so much winning. Right away they wrung him a warren, that company in sight of slayers, carving it from carbuncle, chalcedony, setting him thereon, the player of fortune. They set up too a sorrowing song, retching in even tides, wanting to venture out at once, wearied on behalf of that ever-known lord, still among that stilted circle. All of us, however, grutching those good whiles, footed the foundation, as murmurings up and left of those battling off, the carcass cooled, lovely lively hall, when wicked ones lopped us both, laid to earth, such a dreary outcome. The wicked carved us down into a cavernous cave. Even still, lordful thanes said they were friends, searched me out and dragged me up in gold and silver. Now you can hear, O you mortal thing you, how I waded through the workings of ones, haunting their harrowing, their sores, their sorrows. Now the season is very much upon us, the hall arrived, when humans, clenched to earth, rooted wide and broad, worthy me, and all these workings widely renowned, beseeching this bright beach. Upon me the child of God travailed and tribulated some time, and so I tower tall once again under pendant skies, pressed with potence, now able to cure any one of you, you who are as afeared as me. Back then I became the worst of ordeals, hateful to humanity before the lively way was stretched out properly for all those, the chatterers. Okay, at that point in time, the skipper of splendor worthied me above foresty trees, the ward keep of vaulted realms, just like he honored his own mother, Mary, that's her name, above the lot of other women. He was God all surpassing. Now let me charge you this, my charming man, to unclose this disclosing, speak it wordfully, to all humanity. It is this glorious beam that the ever-powered God pained upon for the endless defaults of humankind, even Adam's ancient workings. Tasting death, he was mounded under, while this other lord mounted up amid his manifold mights as helpmeet to humankind. Then he shot into the heavens. Soonward he will strive back to this middle yard, seeking the seeds of mortals, on the day accounts are due. The Lord themselves, God ever compassing, among an angelic entourage, the urge to judge upon them, who keeps the right to reckon, each and every one, alone, just as they accrued in the earlier, during this loan which we call life. Nor can any of them stand fearless at the pronunciation that the potentate proclaims. They will inquire before the entirety where the mortal might be, who dared to drink death's bitters in the name of this Lord, just as this one once did upon the beaming tree. Yet they will shiver then, few imagining what they could offer up to Christ in reply. No need for any to dread there, those who blazon the better beacon across their breast. Instead, they shall root out the realm by means of the rood, every soul who plans to keep their reservations with the ruler. At that moment I put in my request with that shining tree, with brimming heart, courage overcupping, where I was lonely planted, my own house scanty, the channels of my ownsome, so very eager to ferry themselves on to the forthwards ways, greeting and meeting all those whiles, those miles of morning. Now my life hopes forward, to find permit to trace the track of that triumphant tree, lonesome more often than not, lauding those limbs as befits more than other mortals. The urge in me urges urgently the patronage of my heart rude right. How I am overfraught with friends along the folds of the earth, ever since they turned away from the pleasances of this place, flowing forthwards far from here? They quested themselves towards the chief charged in grandeur, cohabiting now in the celestiality with the highest daddy, glamping out in glory. Hoping my way all these days, for when this rude, lordly to me, the one I pour over here on this plain, shall put paid to the loan of my life, and then pack me up, towards where there is every joy, happiness through heaven, where the captain's crew are seated for the cookout. There is a singularity of bliss. I will be seated there as well, where I may be granted afterwards an abiding in all this abundance, living swell among the sainted, brooking these blessings. Let the Lord sponsor me, the hallowed who swallowed here on earth a forest of gallows for the sins of their fellows. Delivered from bonds and given life, a home upwardly. Anticipation was granted fresh, draped in fruits and every fairness, to all those who weathered the burning. That child was surpassing, a sure bet poured into the cup of their way, able and accomplished. When they entered the fray, the companionry of souls in the realm of God, single hand on the rudder, every power. With angels as ecstasy, and all those sanctified, the ones who climbed before into heavens to abide in all that splendor. When their wielder arrived, divine power multiplied where their dwelling was.